If you caught last week's episode from the rim of the Grand Canyon, you realized that it was such an emotional time for me. And it was emotional, it was spiritual, it was physical. And since that time, I have gotten home. The Grand Canyon / bicycle 750-mile adventure has ended. I got home Sunday to my amazing wife. It was so good to see her. As I said, it was a lot of emotion was packed into that. She had been in that car accident, and it was so good to see her again. She's got a new car, very proud of how she handled that whole situation. My daughter had flown from Wisconsin down to spend some time with her to help her navigate that process. All was good. And within a few days later, so I had just a couple days to kind of reconnoiter. I had a dentist appointment. I rested a lot. And then we hopped into the new car and we headed to Wisconsin to see said daughter and other daughters. We have 2 daughters who live in Wisconsin. So I'm sitting here in Wisconsin. You can see the American flag. It is July 4th weekend behind me in Neenah, Wisconsin, where they live. My daughters teach at rival high schools. How cool is that? Emily, the one who went and visited my wife, she teaches chemistry at Kaukauna High School. And Katie, the older one, she teaches at Neenah High School, English, and they teach rival high school, so it's really fun to be with them. We'll spend next weekend with our son. But we had another trip. We hopped in a car and we headed, 1,500 miles north from Houston to Wisconsin. It was a 2-day drive, 20 hours on the road or some crazy number like that. But as I'm sitting here, I've been thinking about this analog reset. I've been doing this analog reset where I wanted to just get away from the digital devices. It's been hard to get back and have devices in front of me. Even as I haven't used them very much, and I think that's good. Oh, that's better. Even as I have been here now for some time, getting back to using the digital devices has been kind of weird. I got used to a much simpler lifestyle. And yet I'm confronted with the reality that I am soon to start something new. So I'm recording this on Friday, July 3rd, July 4th. 250th anniversary of America is tomorrow. How cool is that? But Monday, the reality strikes in, and I'm going to be attending at Loyola University in Chicago the AP Physics Summer Institute, and doing some serious cognitive work. I actually spent, 3 or 4 hours once I got home getting set up so that I was ready to do this when I got here. I've been trying to figure out how I want to do this. I'm trying to save space. And so before I left, even for the canyon trip, what I did is I spent some time thinking how I want to do this. And so what I did is I downloaded all of the assignments, the physical paper assignments. At first I'd printed them up at school. I think I talked about this in a previous episode. But I realized that I want to have it just more portable. So I'm doing a kind of a hybrid model, is that I have downloaded them to my iPad, and I'm going to be using a note program, Notability, to work all the problems. So I actually worked a lot of the physical problems on paper, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert them to digital device. I spent a lot of time getting them converted into the digital format so I can easily have them available, but then it's still going to be an analog thing. I really need myself to step back into learner mode. And I think maybe what's going to be really good for me as I think about the year and AI, the Mastery Flip framework, all those kinds of things, is that as I teach this new course, Physics with Calculus, AP Physics C, what I'm going to have the ability to do is to step back into learner mode. So often I think we become experts at what we teach, and I truly am, I think, at what I teach. But now I have to step back to learner mode and learn, because I have a lot of things I have to do. I want to do all the problems, the physics problems that my students are going to do throughout the year, and then I want to then create new flipped videos, if you will, the AI engines in the Mastery Flip framework. I'm going to create videos for these content for this particular course for these students, and I need to create all this. And I'm going to step way back into learner mode, because some of it's like serious learner mode. I have not taken calculus in 42 years. And I'm going to be teaching a course that requires calculus of my students. They'll all be in calculus. They'll probably be better calculus students than I will. And I'm going to have to step back and learn these things. And that starts really afresh on Monday. I've gotten emails from the organizer. Seems like a great lady who's a retired physics teacher who's going to be teaching a group of, looks like 20 of us. I saw the list or whatever. And we're all going to be there, and I'm going to just try and sop it up. So often when I go to conferences, I'm the presenter, I'm the workshop leader, and not this week. Next week, I am total learner mode John. And I think it's going to be really good for me, and I hope that helps me to get that learner perspective. And that's kind of weird, right? You'd think the guy teaching in his 41st year, he's learned it all. No, I've not. I've got so much more to learn, and so much more about life and even teaching. And like a lot of you, I'm still just figuring this out. And I think, as I've talked about in previous episodes, we are all figuring out this AI thing. We don't know what to do. Nobody really knows. I have an idea. I think this framework really works. The Mastery Flip framework, by the way, you are still welcome to take the Mastery Flip course. I would encourage you to take that in the days to come as you step back into getting ready for teaching mode. That I've got this framework where it has 3 key components, AI engines, and that's where I'm going to be creating these flip videos. And then analog roots. I'm so convinced that we need to get our kids away from devices, especially in the classroom time, and doing what it is that keeps teaching going. And as I created that online course for everybody, remember I talked to professors from Harvard and MIT, and they're in there, Dr. Wagner, Dr. Gratzer, Dr. Reich, different professors who really kind of helped me kind of figure out how we need to teach in this age, analog. And then they I think the most interesting part of it is the third part, which is the human checks, the Mastery Vivas, where I'm bringing back oral exams, oral explanations for the students. And I think it's so important for us you can't fake an oral exam. So if you're interested in that Mastery Flip at all, I would encourage you to hop in, go to just johnbergman.com, remember Jon, and then Bergman has 2 N's, or reacheverystudent.com. That gets you to the same place. And take that. I have started something new too on that as a note. I think it's really better if you do this not by yourself, but you do it in a group. And so to that end, if there's 4 or more people then who take the course, you get half off. So I'd encourage you to find that. And if you can't find it, just send me an email reply to this podcast episode off the Substack, or find me somewhere and send me an email, and I'll set it all up for you. So I may be a little late because I'm going to be enmeshed in AP Physics stuff in a few days. What is this? This is Friday before 4th of July. And speaking of 4th of July, I'm an American. I know some of you are not. You're from other countries, but I am a proud American. And I'm the son of a U.S. Air Force fighter pilot who fought in Vietnam. And for 4 years, in fact, as a young man, or a boy, not a man, I would say I was a boy from age 6 to 10. We lived in the Orient while my dad flew missions in both Korea and Vietnam. He came back alive. In fact, again, part of this old podcast, this whole journey this summer is I spent 3 or 4 days with him because he'd had another minor stroke. He's 88 in Washington State. And I am a proud American, and I've been listening to different books, audiobooks. I love audiobooks and reading books or whatever. And just, I am still struck by the miracle that this country is, that the United States actually happened and came to being. You think back to July 4th, 1776, 250 years ago, and those guys who were standing in that room at the Continental Congress, and they signed their name to that Declaration of Independence. Now, we know how the story ends, but they did not. And they sacrificed so much for us to have so much. And it created the greatest country, I would argue, that's existed in the history of the world, with freedom, with so many freedoms and so many opportunities. And as a teacher in this great country, I want my students, and I want our whole country to know that we live in a special place. And this special place makes a difference in the lives of people. And it has changed. It is the beacon of hope in the United States. I know, in the world. And I know that the world is messed up. I know that there are lots of problems in our country, and we have totally got it wrong. Boy, we messed it up with slavery big time. And so we have, if you will, some sins, if you will, our country has committed that are egregious. But what I love about our country is that we've corrected a lot of these things, and we've said we were wrong. And there's been times, if you will, of repentance. And I think that maybe that's something that we need in today's world, is that, yes, this is the greatest country in the world, and yes, we've not got it right. And when we don't, we need to come in a really, honestly, in a biblical sense, come and repent of our sin and move ahead and say we can do better and unify ourselves under the common thread of what America means. So yeah, I think about that as we approach July 4th. You're going to catch this episode. I guess it's going to drop July 6th, so this will be after the fact, and the fireworks will have displayed behind me here in this little town called Neenah, Wisconsin. This is where my daughters live, and I hope that you enjoyed that time and that you had time to reflect on the United States, at least if you are somebody from the United States. Many of you I know are from other countries, and I wish for you that your country, it is, all people are special. I am 100% believe that all people are made in the image of God, and we all have dignity because of what He has given us. And so regardless of where you're from, you have dignity, you matter. There's a biblical principle called imago Dei, an image of God, that we are all made in the image of God, all people, no matter from where you are, because that's who you are. And that is something that some civilizations have cherished and some have not. And those who've had that kind of a principle established have succeeded and thrived. And many of the countries I'm sure that you're from have that same principle. But not all cultures have. It has been one of the greatest things in the history of the world to bring that concept of imago Dei to the forefront. And yeah. So again, maybe a weird podcast talking about, I want us to realize that we need as teachers, go back to the sort of the core message of this, we as teachers need to make sure that we can exist in learner mode. And as we exist in learner mode, then I think then we can really help our students. And that learner mode for me is going to require me to have AI engines. So I'm still going to use AI. I'm not anti-AI. I'm going to use AI to teach me some of the things I don't know so that I can, opposite sort of order, I can then create these lecture videos, right, for my students. So I'm going to have if you will, a mastery viva where I have to then very clearly communicate on a video what I want to teach. And then but to build that in so that I can do that, I'm going to have pencil and paper, or technically iPad pencil and screen, if you will, to work these problems out, me and a calculator and just thinking through stuff. And that's how I'm going to create this new course that I'm going to be teaching, that I'm looking forward to and yet sort of terrified of too at the same time. So I hope that you, as you have just finished up your July 4th weekend, if you're a U.S. citizen, and you're ready to start rethinking about AI and about how to teach in this age, that as you re-enter society, as I am about to re-enter society, and back into sort of schooly mode, that you would consider, I would ask you to consider taking the Mastery Flip course. Go to reacheverystudent.com and you'll find out information about that under Mastery Flip. And yeah, so thanks for being a faithful listener. I love hearing from you guys. If there's things you feel like you want me to talk about, hey, reach out to me. I would love to hear from you. I've even Zoomed with some of you, and I love just getting to know some of the listeners. So yeah, hey, go out and reach every student. This has been John Bergman.